broadcasting and streaming live all across America. This is Home Talk USA with Michael King, where we will discuss topics pertaining to your home with industry-leading experts. Michael King is a licensed general contractor with more than 30 years of experience in home improvements and the author of Contracting with the King. Join us this hour for our segment Invent America with your co-host, the Inventor Lady Rita Crompton. Discover what's next in the home improvement industry and explore new products and innovations. Or if you have that next great big idea, learn what it takes to bring your invention to the world. As Michael King and Rita Crompton talk to America's inventors and innovators. Remember, the America of tomorrow is being invented today. We invite you to visit us at HomeTalkUSA.com, one of the best resources for home improvement information around today. Your best life begins with your best home, and there's no place like Home Talk. That's HomeTalkUSA.com. And now, we proudly present Invent America from the #1 home improvement radio program in the country, Home Talk USA, with your host, the Cajun contractor, Michael King, and his co-host, the Inventor Lady, Rita Crompton.
Yeah, hey, this is the Cajun contractor, Michael King. This is Home Talk USA. And you're now listening to the Invent America show here on the Home Improvement Broadcasting Network. This is episode, 1110 and counting. It's getting close, Rita. Close. It's getting very close. We will become the longest running home improvement radio program in American radio history. Finally, we got some national media, my local media. A lot of the power stations are now saying, "Where have you been for 27 years?" Well, I've been here. I know. Each week.
I get inventors that call me and say, "Where were you?" And it's like, I was here. You know. So,
well, Rita, now that's Rita Crompton. She is the co-host of the Invent America show with me, the Cajun contractor, Michael King. Welcome, all of you. I do want to mention, though, the next hour, though, we're going to have Mr. Greg Owens, the Made in America guy. He's going to be co-hosting the show, Made in America show. So it's all about Home Talk USA, Made in America, Invent America. This is pro-America all the way. No matter how you look at how you get your product to market, the blueprint to get it to market, established companies, non-established companies. I mean, where do I stop here, Rita? But it's getting crazy. Me and you are going to be on the road soon, and
yep.
But Rita, tell us what you want to discuss. I mean, we talked about this. Some of the products just sell better than others. Why is that? Is the product itself? Is it the marketing?
It's
Why?
The story, Michael. It's the story. Okay. And personal example here, we bought a generator when we bought our house. We live out in the forest. And if you don't have a generator and there's a storm, you're going to be without power for a while. But the story that was told on all the advertising, it's like, that's the one we're going to get. That's the one we got, not the one we should have gotten. Okay. But we listened to the story. So it really is all about the story, good, bad, and ugly. And so when we get inventors that, you solved a problem, all right, that people are very familiar with. If you don't have the right name, the right tagline, the right story, all right, nobody's going to find it. Nobody's going to get it.
And it's got to make sense. It's got to make sense.
And it's got to be short and sweet. All right.
Yep.
We had some guys a long time ago that did a product called Tag-A-Beaner. Well, nobody is going to Google Tag-A-Beaner to find the Tag-A-Beaner because nobody knows the word exists. But what do they Google? Pet tag holder, because that's what it was. Both of my dogs still have these Tag-A-Beaners on them. And what we sold and went after as far as social media was pet tag holder, because everybody needs a pet tag holder. And where did we go to sell it? It wasn't to the big box stores, because these guys, they had one SKU number. It was, where do most people lose their pet tags? Doggy parks, doggy daycares. And they would pull open a drawer and they'd say, yeah, if you want to fish around in this box 1,000, this drawer 1,000, did you want to buy a Tag-A-Beaner while you're at it? They sold thousands of them at the doggy daycares where people were losing their tags. So it's all about the story, short, sweet, important, the most
Irrelevant.
important words. Exactly. It's a word game.
Well,
it really is. It's a word
Rita,
game.
I'm blessed to be in both worlds. I'm blessed to be in the TV world. I'm blessed to be in the radio world. And if anybody can tell you the difference between television media and radio media, is me, because
Yep.
I experience both. I make my living off of both.
Yep.
And I need to tell you, and that's, when I hear radio's dead, I shake my head, because even though TV's more expensive, radio tells the story. More money is spent on radio than TV. Why is that? It's because TV does not tell that story. TV does demonstration of the story. Demonstration of the story is different than telling the story. And that's why radio, and what I try to tell people is how are you going to tell your story in a 30-second commercial? You can't. That's the point. But Coca-Cola and GM, they have to flood the market of 30 seconds to a minute, but they do 500 commercials a day telling 5 stories, but not each story is in 30 seconds. You ever notice that? Yeah. Allstate, and they tell the story, but they know they can't tell it in 30 seconds.
Right. And the challenge for our inventors is they can't afford. They're not Coca-Cola. They're not Allstate Insurance. And they have got to use their money wisely. They've got to pick their words carefully. And, it's a challenge. It really is. So, we don't want people turning the radio to another channel. So we've got to tell a really good story.
Radio is still affordable.
Yes, it is.
Radio is not going anywhere. And what's amazing with technology, you go beyond radio now. Now you got podcasting, and you got streaming, and I can go on and on. Well, when you have a show like this that not only has terrestrial radio, podcasting, and streaming, it's the advantage of, telling that story over a long period of time that's successful. Yep. And that's what radio does. It just tells that story, and it's the story.
It is. It is. And when I tell inventors, it's like, buy a nice bottle of wine, 6-pack of beer, sit around with your friends and say, what would you Google to find you? And then take some of those, words and put them together. And then, if you're using, just a few words for your title, a couple of words, tag-a-beaner was one word, pet tag holder. We had another guy that did a product called Door Dog. Yeah. But you know what? When people punch in, they're looking for doggy doors. There were 1 million hits. Well, it was a tool on how to hang a door. So we got him the tagline on how to hang a door. What do people Google on how to hang a door? How to hang a door. And he came up on the first page. So it's all about the words. It's all about the quick story. People don't read a whole bunch anymore. They want to see it. They want the bullet points, and they want to run with it. And if they want it, they're going to go to your website. Yep. And if it's got an odd duck spelling, they're not going to find it. Better off than using, if you want an odd duck spelling on your name, use a good tagline so people can Google you and find you. Because you know what? Everybody's got short memories these days.
27 years ago when I started this, I was the originator of keywords. Everybody knows my story. I originated. That's why Google came in and changed their algorithms, because I was making money off of Google. And I wasn't as smart as I wasn't an engineer, but the point I'm trying to make is that I recognized that a long time ago. Come short, sweet. And everybody wants to know when I go to our website why we promote the keywords. It's because that's why. You see, people don't understand that when you pay for keywords, and you quit paying, it goes away. But when you do through natural analytics, through a natural search engine search, and it's sitting on somebody's website, people still need to understand that social media tries to find it somewhere. Well, if you put it in an organized location, it makes it easy for the search engine to find it at HomeTalkUSA. And when they go to HomeTalkUSA.com and they see our sponsor and they see all the keywords, they say, wow. And what's amazing, it might only take one click. I've seen it. I've seen it happen where a technology would be on page 1,000,004, way back long.
Yeah.
And all of a sudden, we did the show and we talked about the keyword, and somebody went on World Wide Web, right, and typed in that keyword, and then it went from page 1,000,009 to page 2. And then when you do it again, it's on page 1. Because
I know.
You don't have to have a lot of clicks.
Years ago, years ago, we were going to the National Hardware Show, and somebody goes, who's this Inventor Lady? I Google National Hardware Show. Inventor Lady is what comes up. It's like we paid a lot of money and a lot of time to do that social media keyword thing so that we would come up when people would punch in National Hardware Show. But you got to be smart about your words. And that's what we're talking about today is how do you be smart about the words? How do you make sure that, you use things wisely?
That's right. And that's what the whole package we're talking about is why products sell more than other products. Not necessarily the product's better.
That's right.
Because they do a real good job marketing. All right, we're going to have to take a short break, Inventor Lady. We're going to pay some bills, and we're going to come back. We got some great topics here at HomeTalkUSA.com. Don't forget to check out our website, HomeTalkUSA.com. Click the Invent America show, Made America show, our TV show, a little bit about Rita, me, Greg, our whole family. All right, we're going to take a short break. We'll be right back, y'all. Y'all come back now. You hear? Hey, welcome back. This segment of the Invent America show is sponsored by Impeccable Air, the leaders in whole home air ventilation. If you want to improve air quality of your home, think Impeccable Air at impeccableair.com. It's never been easier, impeccableair.com. Rita, we got a great show, a lot of time. Who's our first guest?
Our first guest today is Aaron Farrer. He is, I've nicknamed him the Ant-Man because his product is called, the Ant-Man. And so it was like, okay, just real quick then. And I spit it out with there before I realized that it's the Ant tool. All right. And Aaron is a solo entrepreneur. He has been on the market for about a year with his product. And so, Aaron, you had to learn to tell the right story. So tell our listeners, what is the Ant tool? And, I will still use the Ant-Man as my, secret private little nickname for you. Oh, don't tell anybody. But anyway, tell everybody, what is the Ant tool?
Absolutely. So thank you so much for having me on. I'm happy to be here today. And the Ant tool is something I invented working for my dad's lawn service because I got sick and tired of dragging heavy tarps around that were full with wet leaves, grass clippings, sticks, walnut, all kinds of yard materials you could need to process. So what the Ant does is it's a padded strap that clips into the grommets of a tarp, and then instead of having to bend over and drag that thing backwards, you just stand up, lean into the pad. It's much faster, safer, and easier.
That's so cool. So, when we're talking about, the title, it's a very cool title, but I'm not sure that someone is going to Google, the Ant-Man to find, the Ant tool. So tell our listeners, how did you accomplish that? How did you get to the point where you weren't just selling to the folks that drove by and saw it, you were actually selling then online?
Yeah, well, your guys' conversation today is hitting for me a little bit because I have recently determined that I need to do a rebrand. I love that the Ant is memorable, and every once in a while somebody even gets it. They're like, oh yeah, because ants can move multiple times their body weight. And I'm like, yeah, there's kind of a connection there. Use me as a case study for what not to do. Don't name your product after an acronym. There's a reason no one else does it. It took me 3 years to figure this out. Now I know. And what you guys were talking about is exactly what I intend to do. I'm going to go and look in like Google Search Console, or I don't know exactly how I'm going to do it, but I'm going to do it and figure out what are people searching for when they have the problem that I'm solving. And the product should be named that way instead of the apparatus for navigating tarps and hoping that someone is like, I mean, what would they even have to Google to get to my product? I wish I could be stronger like an ant when I'm doing my yard work. It's terrible.
Well, I told you when I talked to you this morning that there is a reason. And sometimes, folks just say, oh, am I on the radio today? And I go, well, yeah, you are now. So that was a good one because, we look at, and I've helped inventors over the years be able to say, that's really not a good name for what you're trying to do. What would someone Google to find you? So again, get a bunch of your guy friends around or people you work with and say, do a barbecue and get a 6-pack of beer or whatever and say, okay, what would you Google to find us? And it's probably not going to have "Ant" in the name. And so, you learn what it goes, and then, the story that you tell. You can also hire someone that works for a company like Biljana's does, and she would help you brand that product. And that's what she's doing with one of the other inventors who's going to ASD Market Week with us. And she is our industry expert, so she'll be on here in a few minutes. But, when you're looking at that, difference. The other thing, don't be afraid to use a tagline that goes to the website that, like the guy that was how to hang a door. He wanted it named Door Dog. That didn't make any sense to me because, you got a million doggy doors. But how to hang a door is exactly what you Google when you're looking for his tool, even though it's not called how to hang a door. So, there's ways, I always tell, inventors, it's always all about the words. And sometimes, goodness gracious, go down to the Ace Hardware and do a survey. That's just like, this is what it is, and, take down the words. That's what I used to do when I was naming my novels, is get everybody over there and say, okay, let's throw out some of these words and, see what it's going. So in the years when I was writing murder mysteries, always went well with a nice bottle of wine. So what's next for you, Aaron? What are you, besides rebranding, what are you looking to do next with your product? Besides maybe join us at ASD Market Week. Oh, you could do a survey there. You could say, okay, what should I rebrand this? That's not very far away.
That would be a great place to do it. And I've heard and maybe even tested that people love it when you come up to them and you're like, I'm doing some market research, maybe hold a clipboard, and they're like, oh, market research, that's fun, versus like, I'm trying to make my business better. They're like, that's not my problem. Who are you? Why are you talking to me? So the clipboard is important. That's a powerful tool. Next for me, I'm not entirely sure. What I do know is that it's fall. I have inventory, and so I'm sorry to answer this question like this, but I'm focused on right now. I want to get this out there, have people adopt this. I just got back from a big trade show where we sold a bunch of them, and I still have more. So just because of like people getting out and doing yard work, there's kind of a seasonality component, and I'm sprinting to get to the winter. Ask me again over the winter.
Well, I know there's a lot of people out here that don't need it to do basic yard work. They need it to haul mud that because of that Hurricane Helene. So give everybody your website. Tell us where to go to get it.
Absolutely. theanttool.com is what it's called for now. And that is the best place to find it. There's videos and all kinds of fun stuff you can look at about it.
So it is a very cool tool. And, I know there's a lot of different places where people can use it, a lot of different ways they can use it. I think the cool thing is that it folds up nice and small, so you can take it with you almost anywhere.
That's what the section of my audience that hunts, they love that it's a tiny little thing. They're like, I could use that to haul a deer out of the woods. And I'm like, I've never been hunting, but I hear enough people say it that, hey, use it for hunting.
Well, when we go to ASD Market Week, everybody's using these big wheelie things. And, it's not like you can take them with you. They won't let you pull it across the threshold. But something like this, you get it in the hall, you load it up and you drag it off. Very cool. Very easy. And, are you going to go to ASD Market Week with us? You're thinking about it, right?
I'm thinking about it. I'm leaning towards yes.
I like that. All right, everybody. If you are an inventor out there and you've got an idea, please join us at the Inventors Roundtable. And you can find all of our recordings at invent-america.com. If you need a service provider, please give me a call. We have got really good vetted attorneys, engineers, and marketing people that you can get some help on getting your product into the marketplace. So we have got another inventor with us, very cool product, and our industry expert coming up. So stick with us, everybody. We will be right back. everybody. Thanks so much for being with us this afternoon for this segment of Invent America. And why do we do Invent America? Because America invents. Have been for a long time now, and we solve the problems that people see and notice every day. So this segment of our show is being brought to you by Liberty Tabletop by Cheryl Manufacturing, America's only flatware made in the USA. So you want to support American made? Go to Liberty Tabletop at libertytabletop.com. And we are so grateful to be able to talk about some products just don't sell very well, and it's usually the name and the story that's told to get your attention. I mean, after all, how many people really needed a pet rock? I didn't, but they sold a whole bunch of them because of the story that was told. So when we look at inventors who are always on a budget, especially when they get to the point of marketing and trying to tell you about their product, it's always about the words and how can we get your attention? What would you go out there and Google to find us? What makes sense and people can remember? What can we spell? Because holy cow, I have seen some odd duck names that no way I would be able to spell that just from memory. So when we talk about being smart and we are looking for your input, please, America, let us know what you think. You can go to Invent-America. Type me out a message. Love to have you on the show, and especially if you're an inventor, but certainly like to hear what you have to say. So my next guest is Rashmi Hudson. She has got a very cool new product. I'm thinking, holy mackerel. It is a 3-piece luggage, all combined. And, you know, we go someplace, we've got, you know, workout clothes in one part of it. We've got dress up clothes for a conference in another part of it, and never should the two mix. So Rashmi, tell everybody about your product.
I'm happy to. Thank you for having me here. The Alltimate Luggage is to help you carry everything that makes you feel confident when you get to your destination. We all want to dress and look a certain way, whether you're going to a business meeting or a dinner out, or to a wedding. It doesn't matter. You're going on a cruise and you've got that pretty little black dress, or you've got your tuxedo or a nice jacket to wear, and you don't want to waste your time ironing everything. It takes hours to iron everything if you do it right. Plus,
iron, what's that? Yeah.
I know. And you risk burning your clothes on that hotel iron, because I will tell you, nobody manages the hotel iron. And Rita, what's the first place that people iron? Right there on their chest.
I know. I burned a hole in my shirt a couple years ago. I'm at a trade show. I burned a hole right in the middle of the shirt. So now I'm looking, what else matches this pair of pants that are multicolored? Holy cow. Exactly what happened. I would have been so much better off with Alltimate Luggage, because then I would not have needed to iron my shirt.
No. So the story began with my son going off to med school, and I did not want him to worry about how he would be judged, except for the answers that he gave to the questions, right? Not based on appearance, but it's human nature to judge based on what we see, whether it's a threat or a kindness, whatever it is. So the garment bag was an easy part of the problem. Is how do you, there are garment bags out there, but what makes our garment bag different is you don't have a way to carry it, because there's not a place to hang it up on the plane. It's not easy to carry your garments just the way that they are. But you also have other items. Like you said, you have workout gear, you have your undergarments, you have your socks, you have your shoes, makeup, everything else. So just capitalizing on the fact that you roll t-shirts, clothes to try and minimize your wrinkles. This is what the Alltimate does. Our garment bag wraps around a duffel and connects in a circular shape, so it keeps your clothes wrinkle free. Plus, you have an easy way to carry it now, and it fits in overhead bins. It takes up less horizontal space than box luggage. And Rita, let me tell you, how many times have you gone to an airplane? You get to your gate and they gate check your bag to your final destination.
Oh, yeah. I live in Tennessee. Happens all the time.
You have to take a connecting flight. Well, what if something changes and you're not making it to your final destination? And what if there's a storm system or something else that happens there? This system, because it does not have wheels and it's not box luggage, you simply carry it and they don't gate check it. You have it with you. So the minute you get off the plane, you have it. The beauty of this is that It's a garment bag, it's a duffel. The third piece is a day pack. But you know what? You can use them individually. They
Excellent.
connect. That's our proprietary way, is they connect to create one piece of carry-on luggage. But there are times when, let's just say you're going to go on an overnight trip with your significant other and you have 4 things that you want to carry, 5 things. All that fits into the garment bag. Well, lay it flat in the back of your car. And it's easy. Every time you hit your brakes, clothes aren't going to go flying everywhere.
Yeah.
Because,
Well,
that's what people do. They just leave them in the back seat.
so today we're talking about how you've gotten the message out there. So what is your message to everybody? What is, how did you come up with the name, and what are you doing to say, here I am?
Okay. So that is such a great question. The way I came up with my name took me just as long as it did to get my patent. This is so crazy because every name is already taken. But the ultimate is to carry all your things, and it is to be your all-time favorite travel mate. Having listened to your show, I know I'm going to rethink where I am, and my slogan is where I'm going to pay such close attention to where people can find it. I am doing a lot with pitching my story to media so that you can, I think it's very important to have that proof, not just social proof and purchasing proof, but also proof from experts in the industry. So I am looking to reach all those. It would be great to reach to the Forbes of the world, but I have pitched my story to some great publications out there that like entrepreneurs and they like the story. And so that's how we're approaching it right now, and soon to start with advertising campaigns on social media.
All right. All right. So, you've got inventory, correct?
Yes.
Where do people go to find your website? Give us the name. Spell it out.
Of course. It's ultimatelyluggage.com. ALLTIMATE luggage.com. Ultimate is also a play on the word ultimate, ULTI, ultimate, but it's ALL for all your things, because we can carry everything for you.
That's excellent. And we will have your website up. So if you are looking for a new piece of luggage, this time of year, everybody's thinking about Christmas gifts. So if you are out there and you would like to be able to see Rashmi's website, we will get it posted on our website as well, and see if we can't help her move some of that luggage. And, everybody has got their favorite thing, whether it's working on, a new roof, going on a new trip. We always have things for the consumer out there because our listeners are looking for what's new. All right. You guys we love your support because you really are looking for what's new out there, and our inventors are the ones who have it for you. And that's why everybody's posted on the website. And if you want something and you can't find it, I've had people email me or send me a text message and say, oh, you had this person on your show, we want that product. I am happy to give you back their website or let you know if they've got inventory coming in. So, America, stick with us because we have got now our industry expert who's going to give our inventors some great advice on branding and social media. And, if you've got anybody out there who's got a product, have them get in touch. One, they can be on the show. It's free for inventors to be on the show. They can go with us to ASD Market Week and get some feedback. They can also have access to our industry experts. So they can call Biljana and talk to her directly. And she would love to have a new client, I am sure. So everyone, stick with us now when we come back with our industry expert, and we have got some more fun to have. So hang in there, everybody. We're coming right back. Hello, everyone. Thank you so much for being with us for this segment of Invent America. And this segment is sponsored by Aztec Washer, the revolutionary and innovative roofing product since 1968. Seal it right, seal it tight. Aztec Washer. And our industry expert is Biljana Abel. And you can correct me if I really messed that part up. She is with Equus Group. And we met last week, so we haven't really known each other very long. But I went to her website. I talked to her for quite a while, and she's helping one of the inventors brand a new product. So they do work a lot with inventors and beginning companies in giving advice on how to name a product and what kind of social media they should be using. So, Biljana, thank you so much for being with us today. I appreciate it.
You're very welcome. I'm happy to be here. How exciting.
How do you work with inventors or someone who comes to you like Sandria did and say, I've got this product. How can you help me brand it?
Mm-hmm. Well, yeah. So first of all, it's really privileged to work with inventors and just to feel their energy, excitement about their product. And at the same time, they're quite in their, their own thoughts and ways to describe the product and are so excited to get it out there. But, it sometimes happens that they really cannot get it through the finish line. So they have the product made, they are excited about it, but somehow in all of this excitement, they get stuck on naming, on putting the visuals together, on, just putting it out there as marketing in marketing ways. And so this is where we come. And so what I usually like to do with my clients is I like to spend some time just to learn about their product, ask them all kinds of questions, and also to brainstorm. We have a system that we use, which has been proven to be very successful in name development and also in tagline development, in putting together keywords for clients. So I always say a client takes the time to develop the product, and it looks great and it's wonderful, but they don't realize that they need to take time to also come up with the name, and that actually it's a process. Sometimes it does happen when you're having a glass of wine and when sometimes at 2 a.m. you're like, oh, that's the name, I got it. But then a lot of us don't come up with a name that quickly. So it's a process. So we have to go through the process. And we also have to learn how to put our message out there. We have to repeat it to ourselves, not to be distracted. Sometimes we like to go, especially as an inventor, I see that they like to go on a tangent because it's really not something that they're skilled in producing a message. But
yeah,
they have to learn it. They have to learn how to stay on topic. Yeah.
We always tell inventors, it's like, don't do your own patent. Hire a registered patent attorney. Most of them, they might be able to do their first prototype, duct tape, cardboard, Legos, whatever they're using that's around the house. But eventually they've got to go to an engineer. And so when it comes to marketing, it's going to be very, very similar. It's like, if you've not been in the marketing world where you've established something, you need professional help. And so that's what I run into with a lot of inventors is that, you've got to accept the fact that you need professional help with your patent. You need professional help with your engineering and the manufacturing. And yes, you need professional help. The problem with a lot of inventors is that by the time they get to you, they're broke. Yeah. So they think, oh, I can do Facebook. I can do LinkedIn. I can do it all myself. It's like, nope, you still can't. Still need to save money to get to that end of that process because a professional is going to, have a better idea of the words that click for the consumer. And it's all about getting the consumer's attention. If you cannot get the consumer's attention, they don't know you're there to buy you.
Exactly. So part of what we do with our clients, we also create templates for clients. So what they can use, what kind of image they can use, what kind of verbiage they can use. So if they do go out there and try to do something on their own, at least they have a template. They don't veer off too far away from what the message is or from what they are trying to communicate. Because we've done all this hard work with helping brand the product. Now you have to just really stay on the message. That's what I always say. It's one of the most important things, especially if, some inventors are very creative, but let's say they may not use their brand guidelines that we provided. They will maybe try to use their own clip art or their own artwork. So it's going to distort the message. So it's always very important to keep those templates handy. And if not, they can always reach out to us and then we can guide them through the process. Preparation is very, very important. Yeah.
Well, and for some folks that they just want a name, and I go, then look at your tagline. What are people going to Google to find you? Because, it's not, we do advertising these days and a lot of those big companies advertise on TV or whatever. But most of us, when we want something that does a particular job, we Google words to find it.
What problem are you solving?
Yeah,
right?
Exactly.
What are you trying to solve? And that's where you start.
And so we look at words very carefully. They're the words for the title, the words for the tagline. And people will run into the issue of they were all taken. And I get it. All right. I was at the chamber one day and somebody said, I know you, you're that inventor lady. It's like, it works for me. And so inventorlady.com was available. We were off to the races. But you never know where you're going to get that piece. So you got to pay attention and you've got to listen. Go through the process. If you follow the process, there are ways that you can, even with the names being taken, you can still find a great creative name. Absolutely. Absolutely. So, Biljana, I am going to post your website. If anybody wants to get in touch with you to get help for marketing and branding, we're going to have you as a guest at one of our Inventor Roundtable meetings coming up so people can get on, ask you questions, and hire you to help them. So we want to make sure that all of the inventors know you're out there, that they know how to be able to get in touch with you. They need the help. And all of America, if you know an inventor out there or someone that's trying to establish a product name or a business name, it's all about the words. Have them get in touch. And we are more than happy to get them on the show and get them in touch with any of our service providers. So tune in with us next week. We will talk about a new topic. We will have new inventors on talking about their challenges and a new industry expert that helps answer all of the questions. So stay tuned now for Made in America. And Greg Owens and his guests will be right back with you.